ready to go. So
cool.
And we are live. Hi, everybody. This is Joellen Newman. I'm the founder and owner of Transforming Your Tomorrows life and business coaching company. And as you know, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I have a show, Entrepreneurs on the Rise, where I get the really huge honor of having these phenomenal guests on an eclectic array, and maybe that's redundant, array of topics that are either left brain or right brain. And so tonight, I have Kristen Toscano, who's going to be talking to you about human design. So as you listen, I would highly recommend taking notes. We've got scrolling at the bottom is her, if you want more information on human design, she's a specialist at this. By all means, reach out to her. And I'll mention that a few times. We're going to try to put as much into this in the next 20 minutes. We might go a little bit over because it's a lot of information, but it's yummy information. So what I want to do is share with you her bio, and I will bring that up. Oh, where did it go? Give me a second. I thought I was totally organized, and yet I have to get it.
That's because we have more goodies to share.
That's right. That's right. We do. So, let's see. Already. So really, I am really honored to have Kristen tonight. She's in one of my networking groups, and I was very impressed with the information that she had. And I said, you got to come on if you can. She said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So Kristen is a human design coach. She actually coaches on this stuff. She coaches you to your best self because of your human design, which I think is totally mind-blowing. She helps women who feel stuck understand their unique energetic code so that you can create the life you want without burning out in the process. She has spent 20 years as a physical therapist treating the physical manifestations of stress and burnout, but found the most joy in supporting clients around the underlying factors that contributed to the stress and burnout in the first place. Isn't that always the truth? Kristen now uses human design, EFT, which is tapping, flower essences and essential oils, and more to help her clients move out of the shoulds and align with a truer story of who they are and how they interact with the world around them. So you guys, if you're listening live, and I hope you're going to start to come on, then I'm getting some messages already. Some people can come, some people can't. But Kristen, I welcome you to the show. I can't wait to go through this because you guys, I was the guinea pig. We're going to go through my human design.
Yeah, thank you, Joellen. I'm really excited to be here. And as you'll see, I get really excited talking about human design. So
I love it. So I guess to start off with is, I love that you were in physical therapy, and wanting to get to deeper aspects. Is that how you got into human design?
Yeah, like I said, I was a physical therapist for about 20 years and moved into health coaching. But what I realized is that my passion wasn't talking about what to eat and how to exercise. It was talking to people about their stressors. And this actually was part of who I am. And even before that, I remember when I was deciding whether to go to medical school or physical therapy school back in high school. I had done a bunch of volunteer work and saw the direction healthcare was going with managed care coming, really becoming popular in the mid-90s, and realized even at that point that I wanted to be in an environment where I could really build a deep relationship with my clients. Right. And so what I found was in physical therapy, where I was seeing my clients for 30, 45, 60 minutes at a time, several times a week over an extended period of time, we really got to know each other. And I really got to hear kind of what was beneath the surface.
Nice. And so tell us a little bit about what human design is to really understand, because in my sharing, it's like you're a human design specialist, and if you don't know what that is, like, okay, what's that mean? You know, so
Yeah.
it's more about what that is and how it impacts our lives.
Sure. So human design is like the ultimate personality test. So it's based on your birth information, so date, time, and location that you were born. We put it into the software, it pulls up what's called a body graph, and it gives us information about the story of who you are, your soul curriculum, and kind of the human experience that you're here to live out, the themes that will show up repeatedly throughout your life. And it also shows us where you might be open to be conditioning, and that'll pull you off track. And it synthesizes astrology, the Chinese I Ching, the chakra system, the Judaic Kabbalah, and quantum physics all kind of thrown together.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
it can be fairly heady because there's a lot of components. But the magic happens when we kind of get it in our body and start to live it.
right.
And that's the part that I'm passionate about helping people about, because that was my journey. I spent about 3 or 4 years knowing my design, but not really knowing how to translate that into my day-to-day life. And
So
it wasn't until I made that shift.
Yeah, so that's interesting. You guys, if you're able to listen, or if you listen on the replay, thank you for being here. I know that there's 1,001 places to be, but if you get to listen either live or on the replay, thank you. But when you think about human design and knowing it like you did for a few years, and then how did that impact how you then began to integrate it into your day-to-day living? You know, the choices you made or behaviors you changed. How did that show up? That's kind of cool.
Yeah, for me, it actually, I'm not sure I really made the shift until I actually hired a coach to help me with the process.
I get it.
Because like I said, it can be pretty heady, but there's some very practical things that we can gain insight through our human design. And the biggest thing for me is self-trust in our decision making. As a business owner, when I was health coaching, I was all over the place with shiny object syndrome, feeling like I had to do all of the things, not sticking with anything long enough to be successful at it.
Right.
And when I learned my human design, I really was able to tap into what strategies really are exciting to me, that I want to follow, that are aligned with who I am. So that was one of the biggest insights. And I started playing with just small decisions, like, going to Target, like what color shirt am I going to buy? And instead of like trying to figure it out with my head, I dropped into my body. And in my design, which we'll also see in your design, Joellen, I get this gut level response of either uh-huh or uh-uh. And in the moment, it gives me that guidance. And so I found it super helpful with like decision fatigue, because I don't have to figure it all out.
I kind of love that, because I guess, would you want me to bring up my, share the screen now and bring up my human design so that they can see what that is?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, let me do that. All right, so now you guys can see, I've got some people mentioning, how do I get there? Just go to my Facebook page, you guys. Just let them know.
Yeah, and if people, want to drop questions in the comments, I can go back and see the comments and respond there as well. After we're done.
Yeah, so what this will do is, hopefully they'll be able to get on and show and make some comments. But that's okay, because people will listen on the next day, the replay. So does this show as nice and big for you guys out there? Can you see it pretty well? Can you see it, Kristen?
Yeah, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just walk us through this and what are all these symbols mean? And I love it that it has to do with the I Ching and with astrology and with, I guess, maybe numerology too. I don't know. But I'll let you talk.
Yeah, so we can kind of see the influences of these different systems when we look at, this is called the body graph.
Okay.
It's like your chart in astrology. And there's numbers and, well, let's start with the systems that we can kind of see. So the planetary symbols on either side of the chart here, the circle with the dot in it, the circle with the cross in it, those represent the planets, just like you would see in astrology.
Okay.
Numbers next to them correspond to the hexagrams of the I Ching.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Then if we look at the image in the center, you can see the shapes, like the yellow triangle, the green triangle.
Right.
They kind of look like the chakras, right? Except
yeah. Okay.
Except there's 9 centers instead of 7.
Okay.
And then if you take the whole thing and you flip it upside down, it kind of looks like the tree of life from the Judaic Kabbalah.
Oh.
With the circuitry.
Right. Wow.
And yeah, and so what does it mean? So if we're looking at your chart, Joellen, there's the numbers in black on the right side.
Uh-huh.
Those correlate with where the planets were located at the time you were born. And that tells us your soul curriculum.
Okay.
The numbers on the left side in red are based on where the planets were about 3 months before you were born. And they tell more, there we go, that's a little bigger.
Yeah.
They tell the story of like your human experience. It's where we'll see more of the influences of your epigenetics, your ancestral lineage. It's the human experience side of your design.
Okay. Those are the red numbers?
The red numbers. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so if we look at the picture in between the two, the numbers of the what we call gates that correspond to the I Ching, the ones that are on next to the planets in black will be colored in on the chart in black, and the ones in red will be colored in red in your chart. And like some of the slower moving planets, or if there's one that shows up kind of on both sides of the chart, it will show up in red and black.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Is that the lines? Like,
yes.
Okay, so I don't know.
So the lines get colored in based on the numbers that are on the shapes. So if we look at your chart, that top number on the black side is 52.
Right, 52.4.
Yeah, so if we go to the brown square at the bottom, on the top right, you'll see the 52.
Okay.
Of that brown square, and you'll see a little black line coming off of it.
Oh, okay. I got it. Right in the middle.
Yeah, the little brown square at the bottom.
Yeah.
Coming off of the top of the 3 channels there, it's the top right one.
Right.
Has the 52. So that gets colored in black.
Okay.
Then you have, if we go to the 17 from the red side of the chart.
Yeah, the design, yeah.
On that green triangle, you'll see the 17 there with a red line coming off of it.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So where you have 2 of those gates that get colored in, or what's called defined, meet. For example, if we look at your Earth, which is gate 58 on the black side, so the second number down. And 18 on the red side. If we go to the brown circle, you'll see the 58 off the left side, colored in black. And the
Where's that? The brown circle?
The brown square at the bottom.
Oh, okay, at the brown square. Okay, yeah.
Coming off that left side, you'll see 58
with the black,
black line.
Right. And then the 18. I see it. Okay.
Yeah, and so the 18 is colored in red.
Right.
When both of those get colored in, it colors in the shapes on either end, which are called centers.
Okay.
So when things are colored in, it means that you're going to have consistent access to those energies. They're going to show up as consistent themes in your life.
Okay.
Where the chart is white, so for example, this diamond in the middle, those are energies that you still will access, but you're going to experience them in a more variable way based on who you're around.
Okay.
Where we're open, that's where we're open to, we bring in the energy of others and we amplify them. So depending on who you're around, you're going to feel those different energies in a different way.
Okay.
And so where we're open and we're feeling all of these other energies, it's where we can be open to conditioning if we're now starting to identify with the energies of other people and we're claiming them as our own. That's one way we can kind of get pulled off path. Okay. Or we can question things about ourselves. Like there can be, we've identified with these energies that aren't ours. We doubt ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the top, like in the throat chakra, the top brown square where I think it says, is that 16?
Yes.
With the red and black stripe coming down. What does that mean?
That means 16 shows up on both sides of your chart. And
I see that. Yeah.
The south node is in 16, both on the black and the red side. So if it's black and red, it's in both.
Right. Yeah. So in terms of my behavior, how would that kind of reflect what comes up for me?
Yeah, so the exact placements, that's pretty far deep into the chart.
Okay.
But with it being like the south node, that's going to be a theme that you're going to explore when you're younger. Usually like it'll be a common theme, which is in your early 40s.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Where we tend to start looking at this is what's called your type. And so your type is in the story of who you are based on the chart. It's the role that you're here to play. And so for you, you are we call in quantum human design, the alchemist, which is Karen of Roz. And the language of human design was meant to shock people into awakening because we're talking about archetypes. So in a high expression, a low expression, and I like Karen's language because it speaks more to the potential in the chart. There, being colored in or defined.
Right there. Okay.
And that's the center for workforce to be a builder and a doer of the world. And about 70% of the population have that center colored in.
That is me. I get things done.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're here to become masterful.
Okay. That's cool.
And so part of your process to mastery is you'll make a leap in mastery and then you'll hit a plateau. What can happen on that plateau is we can get frustrated. But if we can shift our perspective a little bit, that plateau is there for you to build energy.
Wait just one second. I've got I've got an echo, so I want to make. Oh, okay. There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah, I was getting an echo from the Facebook page.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay. So as an alchemist with this sacral center defined, you have the stair-step learning process. And in that stair-step learning process, you make a leap in mastery. Then you hit this plateau. This plateau is when we tend to get frustrated. And so sometimes people tend to quit at that point before they've reached that level of, before they've reached mastery, because they quit out of frustration.
Right.
What that frustration is doing is it's a chance for you to rebuild your energy so that you can make that next leap to that next level. So usually if you can change your perspective, that when you feel that frustration, because it's going to come, and change your perspective to that's not necessarily when I'm meant to quit, that means a breakthrough is coming, and that's usually something good and juicy.
Okay, and so that would be the area, you said the brown box up here, right?
That's what makes you an alchemist, is this red square.
Oh, at the bottom.
In the middle, like, yeah, the middle towards the bottom, the second one up.
Okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. Got it.
The sacral center.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah. So two different types. There's 5 types total, and 2 types have that sacral center defined. The alchemist, which is what you are, and the time bender, which is what I am. And so what makes me a time bender is I not only do I have that sacral center colored in, I also have a connection to my throat center from one of the 4 motors in the chart, which are that sacral center is the strongest one. The root center, which is that brown square underneath it.
Okay.
The emotional solar plexus center, which is the white triangle on the right side.
Oh, okay.
And the will center, which is part of the heart chakra, which is the little triangle that on your chart has no lines coming off of it.
Okay.
And so if one of those 4 motors connects directly to the throat center, with that sacral center defined, that makes you a time bender. And so you function like an alchemist, but we tend to try and speed things up. We try and figure out which steps we can skip.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But we don't always skip the right ones. So sometimes we have to go back.
Oh, okay. All right. This is so fascinating.
Yeah.
I could do this for hours. You know.
Me too. It's really fun.
Wow. Wow. So you guys, I just want you to, I know, I think Jill didn't sign on, but as you listen to this, if you want more information, because she's so knowledgeable on this stuff, just make note of her email below, scrolling up at the bottom of the screen, info@kristentoscano.com. So I have it there. And then I'm getting more messages here. So I will, this is cool.
Yeah, because also when we know our type, it tells us how we make decisions. So for you, you'll get a gut level in your body response of for hell yes, this is something I should follow, or it's not something I should follow. And you can use those if people ask you yes no questions, you'll get more clarity than if people ask you open-ended questions, because you can tap into that
Ooh, I love it. I love it. So it's interesting because sometimes, I pull cards in coaching and also for myself. And there are times that even it's like, wait a minute, I just need a yes, no answer. And I'm trained to never ask a yes, no question, because it's too, you want to really understand the essence of what's expanding or contracting, what's going on. And that's not just a yes or no, but there are times that I might find a particular deck that I will go to that will help me get to a yes or no. Now, I with tarot, not always with my oracle cards, and sometimes I don't like the answers, but it is fascinating how, sometimes it's just really important to have a yes or no. So that's interesting.
Yeah, as a health coach, I learned the same thing. Like we were taught ask open-ended questions,
Right.
but 70% of people will get more clarity from yes no questions, because you can get
Really?
real deep
Right.
if you ask the right yes no questions. You may not always like the answers, like you said.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
But if you want
So,
their truth, a yes no answer will get it.
right. Exactly. Exactly. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you really want?
Yeah.
Clear on that.
Yeah. And I use that hack all the time for like when we're trying to figure out where we want to get takeout from or what do we want for dinner. Like how many times do you sit around going, I don't know, what do you want for dinner? I don't know, what do you
Right.
want for dinner?
Right.
Well,
Right.
do you want Italian?
Right.
Your body
Yeah.
will tell you immediately.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Do you want Chinese, Italian, hamburgers, ribs? I mean, what, let's get there. And I like that because we live in a world where there's so much stimuli that having just a really cut and clear question and message, it's like, oh, okay, I don't have to choose. That's it. Do you want Chinese or Italian? Boom, pick one. Yes, I'll take Chinese, or yes, I'll take Italian, and it becomes not so overwhelming, right? Our brains can't tap into so much stimuli that it's like, I don't know, just make a decision. I get that family all the time. And so as a doer, it's like, all right, I'm making the decision. Boom, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And there's 3 other types that don't have that sacral center defined. And so one, they may need more rest because they don't have that sustainable life force, workforce energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about 30% of the population. And so if you think of like a theater production, you have initiators, which in traditional human design are called manifestors. And they're like they get the idea, the spark that moves others into action, because they get the idea, but they don't have that sustainable energy to build it.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like the producer of the theater production.
Oh, right. Oh,
Then you have orchestrators, who in traditional human design were known as projectors, and they're like the director. They see the template, they see, they can guide us to build it, but again, they don't have that sustainable energy, so they need help to build it. So they're like the director. They see the roadblocks, they see the potential, and they're here to be the guides.
Are the projectors?
Projectors are, in quantum human design, we call them orchestrators.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And then
too.
Yeah, and then the rarest type, which is about 1% of the population, are called calibrators in quantum human design. They're reflectors in traditional human design, and they're like the audience. They really are the reflection of the community that they're in, and they let us know how we're doing.
Oh, that's cool.
Just like the audience will cheer you or boo you, the calibrators can feel how the energy of the community.
Wow. Okay. So go through that again, 1 through 5. We've got the calibrators, which in the old ways were reflectors.
Reflectors, yep. They're about 1% of the population, and they're here to reflect back to us how well we're doing. They're like the audience.
Okay.
The initiators, or the manifestors in traditional human design, they're like the producers. They get the idea, they have this nonverbal internal creative flow they have to follow, and then when the pulse hits that now's the time to move into action, they get the show going.
Oh, okay.
Then you have your orchestrators, traditionally known as projectors. They're like the director. So they see the big picture, they see the possibility, they see the potential roadblocks, and they're here to guide the cast and crew into creating the production. So they're like the director.
And would you say that I'm an orchestrator?
You are an alchemist.
Oh, I'm the alchemist. Okay.
Yeah. So the alchemists and the time benders, because they have that sustainable energy to build and do, they're like the cast and crew. They take the idea of the production and they bring it into form.
Cool. This is so fascinating.
Yeah. And this is just like the tip of the icing.
I know it is. This is really in-depth stuff. I know you're just giving me the simple stuff, and my mind is blown. It's like, what? I love this.
Yeah.
The fact that it incorporates so many metaphysical essences, the I Ching, the astrology, I mean, I'm not even naming them all that you named, but I mean that it incorporates all those things, I think is so incredibly deep for those who search through those messages in life. So again, we're going to close it up because I know we're at 8:30, but it's so, I love this. I love it. But you guys, if you listen on the replay, I know some of you've been here. I don't know if you're still here, but please go to her email, info@kristentoscano.com, and find out more. I mean, it's phenomenal what she does. And like she said, this is just the tip of the iceberg of this stuff. It's so it's so deep, and really you learn more about your personality and how it impacts your life. So for me, it's interesting being the alchemist, bringing things into form. I'm the doer. It's like, all right, let's go. We got to get this done, and it's like act, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you have that sustainable energy to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I didn't, but yes, that's true. It's like, all right, I got to get it done. You got to get it done. No excuses. Let's go, so. Well,
yeah, and if people want to email me, I'm happy to email them a PDF that gives them like some of the foundational information of what it all means.
Okay.
And if they want to send me their birth information, just date, time, and location, I'll send them their body graph and another little short PDF that's specific to their type so that they can understand how to start working with it.
I'm going to write that. I'm just going to have him email you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, email me with questions. We can start the conversation there, and then I'm happy to share more.
I'll let you. Yeah. Email. There we go. Perfect. I'm going to have you back because there is so much. This will post on all of them. There is so much to learn, but you're definitely going to have to come back for me. I love it. And we'll keep doing more, and we'll go into a little bit more of it. So
yeah, that'd be fun. Because we can go into like how you can use it for your business, looking at like your soul purpose, or what are you here to communicate about, or what drives you. We can kind of get insights into all that. So a lot of times when people are doing their branding or messaging, we'll tap into some of those things.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's even cooler. I don't know. This is all cool. All right. I love it. I have a friend of mine who knows about this too. This isn't what she does. She does astrology, and she's an intuitive. She's phenomenal, and all these things. But she goes, "You need to know." To whom I said, "I can't take that on more in my brain. I've got enough going on." And so it'd be fun to almost do a panel discussion because she can like, here, Joellen, you need to know this, and you can like, yes, this is what this means, and because you're the expert with it, I love it. So this is very fun.
Yeah. So, well, one thing I would give you just to take away as an alchemist or anyone that has that sacral center defined is like start playing with your sacral response. So instead of deciding what you're going to make for lunch, open the fridge and see what your body is telling you. This is what I want. Or like we talked about with your takeout, what do you want to eat? Like go individual item by individual item. And is it this? Is it this? And hash it out that way. And that way you can start to build trust in what that feels like.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, that's very cool. That's a really cool tip too. Thank you. I will do that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kristen. I love this discussion. You guys, I hope you listen to the replay. Jill, thank you for coming tonight. I know some of you are working and doing other things, but thank you for listening. And I know if you didn't get it live, I know you'll listen to the replay. So, Kristen, this is very cool. Like I said, I got to have you back. And thank you, everybody, for coming for tonight. And we will see you next Wednesday night. And for our next show, I'm not sure who I have on next week, but I'll put it out there. All right. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Joelle. And this was a lot of fun.
It was for me too. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Good night.